Welcome to Supernaut, where we explore the inner and outer dimensions of the self. Today I have on Dom Forey and his mom, Kim. Dom has been sober for 970 days, so we're going to discuss that, plus talk about having kids, his work, and his faith, and talk to Kim about what it was like coping with Dom's drinking and getting sober. So what song did you pick for us to listen to today?
I picked What an Awesome God. Just a awesome song. Every time I listen to it, I'm never sad about it.
Yeah, it pumps you up.
Yeah.
It brought me back to Bible camp. It was amazing. I felt it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. My kids love it too. They're just jamming back there. It's a lot better than a lot of today's music, so.
Awesome. So 970 days. Do you celebrate at different landmarks, like at 1,000 days? Are you planning to celebrate?
Well, not really celebrate. I got it like in my head. I got the date, my calendar, and everything, and I'm pretty excited. 100 days was a lot. That was a journey. 1,000's easier than 100.
I believe it. The first 100 was the hardest.
Tough.
Take me back to 971 days ago, your last day.
It was the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was the day before the Super Bowl, and I was in rough shape, like one of those hangovers that was you would rather be dead than be alive. And I drank all that day, and I woke up the next day on Valentine's Day, and I just asked my kids, "What if we don't go to the liquor store today?" And they didn't believe me. And now it's been 970 days.
When you say the worst day, do you mean physically or emotionally or both?
Definitely not physically. Physically, it was like a couple weeks before then, but emotionally, it was for sure like the worst.
Were you a blackout drinker? Had you blacked out the day before? And
Every day, 7 days a week. I'll drink all day, all night, multiple times a day to the liquor store. No DUIs, thank God. But
had you tried quitting drinking before that?
yeah, a ton of times, lots of times, like every day.
What was the longest you had gone?
Probably like three months. But other than that, there's like no gaps.
When you said you were going to quit and then you would drink again, what was that? Tell me more about that cycle. Like, what would be something that triggered you to go drink again?
Just anything. I had no coping mechanism with anything, so the wind was just right and the sun was out, drank. Somebody said something I didn't like, drank. Didn't feel like going to work that day, I'd go drinking. It wasn't very hard to stay in a cycle like that.
What kept you going this time?
I got a divorce, and I had to watch my kids. I just looked at them, and they were just miserable hanging out with me, so I just said, I'm done.
When was the first time that you seriously almost quit the quitting?
It was a couple weeks before that. I think I was at like a 0.40, or like maybe even above it. So you should have been dead, technically. So that was kind of like, how long can I go for? They told me like 32 would have been a good estimate on dying. And I'm 32 next month. So I wanted to make the 32. Kind of a little milestone for myself.
What was going on through your mind, Kim?
Well, for a long time, every time he would call me in his non-regulated emotional state, I would scream back at him, "This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do." And then I reached a point where I was like, "I love you every day. I just do." And he was like, "How could you love me? I'm just a mess." And I was like, "I'm just going to love you every day. It's just is going to be that." And then he came and stayed at my house for a while, a few days, and I've never seen so many fireball little shooters show up out of nowhere. And I gave him the ultimatum for one of his detox times. I was like, well, you can go to facility and stay for a while. You can go back to your life the way you've always done it. You can go to the hospital. We have options, but you are going to have to choose because it's your life, and I can't choose that for you. You have to make the decision. And I went downstairs and did laundry or something. I came upstairs, he's like, take me to the hospital. And I did, and actually, legally, they had to keep him in the emergency room because his blood alcohol level was so high that the chance of seizure was so great in the detox process that they had to keep him for 72 hours or longer.
And sorry, this was a few weeks before.
This was a few weeks before.
It was like January, middle of January.
This was a few weeks. That detox was a few weeks before the next detox.
Yeah. We went to Cambridge.
And you were missing for a couple of days.
He was there for like 11 days.
And you didn't know that he was in.
Nobody knew where he was for days.
I just had to.
He just had to drop off for a minute.
Even with my kids, everything, I just said, I've got to get better. And then it was like probably only a couple more days of drinking after that, and I was done.
Yeah, then the Super Bowl happened and blacked out again, and then that next day you were like, okay.
Yeah, I had the 2.40s in 2 weeks on record. So I know I was at 0.40 every other day. So they would only give me 3 more years to live. That's not.
Maybe
3 years. Like I was 200 and something pounds. And then when I quit, I lost 40 pounds in like 3 months. Like I just went off. Just from all that sugar.
The inflammation.
Yeah, and swelling.
To let go. Yeah.
I just got a new license from Sobriety.
Oh, so every time you're looking at that old license, you're like,
I just sent
who
it to
is
her.
that person?
Yeah, I was like, look at this guy. He looks terrible.
Why do you think you liked drinking so much? Why do you think that was your drug of choice? What were you escaping from?
I don't know. I had a different dad growing up, and then versus the one that was my biological dad. So that was like one part of it. But I really liked drinking. I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. I loved hanging out with my friends. I didn't bother me blacking out at all. I didn't care.
For me, it's like, okay, 2 or 3 drinks is really fun.
Yeah.
5 or 6 is going to be more fun. 25 is going to be the most fun. So why wouldn't I just keep going?
So I look at it too. Didn't bother me at all. Then I started seeing my kids' faces, and I'm like, I should probably do something about this.
How old are your kids?
The one's 11, 9, and 6.
Okay.
And they always talk about it. Every day.
Still, right now?
Still.
What do they say?
Hey, Dad, you remember when that time where you were, I'm like, yeah, buddy. Yeah, I don't, but you do. So I get to relive it through you, and I'm terribly sorry for that.
Do you think that helps keep you from drinking?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're my, what would you call them?
Accountability partners.
Yeah. They keep me motivated. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you've replaced drinking with?
I like sweet tea. Yeah, a lot. I should probably give that up soon. It's a lot of sugar.
We'll start making your own and a little bit less sugar every week, maybe. Just like slowly wean yourself off.
Yeah. I tried the pot thing for a while. That did not work for me. No, that was terrible.
Why?
It just gave me so much anxiety all the time. You know, I'm like, this is gonna work. It's legal. I'm gonna try it, and then it just freaked me out every day. And I'm like, I'm just going straight sober. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So that's been the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
When he first quit drinking, he was staying at my house, and I'm the manager of the Anytime Fitness in town. So he was like, do you think I could come to the gym? I need to sweat. And I was like, yep. So he got his own membership. He started coming to the gym. And a lot of those first days, he was there like 3 times a day. And he would come in and he'd sweat and he'd work out until he didn't have anything left. And then he'd go home and he'd eat and he'd rest, and he wasn't back to work yet at that point. And so he had too much time on his hands. And he was like, I don't know what people do. I don't know how to do this. And so he's like, I'm going back to the gym. And sometimes it would be because as your body's detoxing, insomnia is super normal. You know, there's so many things. And then like 11 o'clock at night, he'd be like, Mom, I'm going to the gym. Do it, bud.
Had to.
Like, how many times? I mean, I have started running, and so people ask me all the time, what are you running from? And I was like, my demons. And I remember looking at him running on the treadmill, and I was like, that boy is fighting those little buggers.
Right.
You know, because it was a lot.
Right.
And if you don't have something to replace that energy with in a healthy manner, you know, you're just going to go from drinking to gambling or drinking to something else negative, where he was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Because all we are is chemicals, and we just want dopamine, however we can get it, and our brain will do anything it can to get back to homeostasis and back to that point of pleasure. So, yeah, that's what I mean, is like replacing it with exercise. That's great. 3 times a day. Yeah. Because, I mean, you can replace it with your kids or your spouse or whoever you want and say, you know, I'm just going to keep thinking about them. But that's not an activity. You know what I mean? I think you need to do something with your time. You can't just sit there and think about them. As much as beautiful as that would be to say, like, I quit for my kids. Like, obviously you did, but there has to be something else physical, I think, to do. Otherwise, what else are you going to do? Because, yeah, it's like when I used to drink 7 days a week, and it was like, what do you do? What do people do? I don't
Right.
know.
I
don't
didn't know what people did
understand.
at all. I had no idea what people did. I thought people that went for walks were weirdos. I thought people that went to church were weirdos.
Yeah.
I thought people that were just happy for no reason, weirdos. Or I thought they were drinking. I thought you had to be drinking.
Something different.
You are
something
weird.
different kind of Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And then I found out they got it figured out.
They just enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed life
They're
differently.
just enjoying life. Just
Living
being
in the
alive.
present moment. And
Not, I don't know, like, wasted a lot of my time. A lot of it. And I don't remember it, so it's not that bad, I guess. But a lot of time and money wasted. I don't like think about it like that. Every once in a while I do. I just go, if I could do it all over again, I would delete that one thing. Everything else, keep it, whatever. But drinking, I would never touch this stuff.
because it does just feel like a time waster, and
That's all it is.
sucked all of that life out. Yeah.
Wouldn't leave the house. Miss so many things. Now I go on vacations. Like I'm leaving next week.
Now he does family.
Where are you going next week?
Upper Peninsula.
Oh, beautiful.
For like the weekend, just a weekend trip there and back. I would have never been able to do that. Or else I would have probably gotten like a DUI.
Yeah, so you never got one. Did you ever get any accidents, like car accidents, bike accidents, nothing?
Nothing.
Well, that's so impressive, and that's what I'm searching for the most on this podcast is people who have found a way to quit without something devastating happen. So that's really beautiful. Any other insight you have for people who want to and are just waiting for that horrible thing to happen before they quit? I used to say when I was a teenager, my quit smoking cigarettes plan is to get pregnant. Like, you know.
Yeah, I could totally understand that.
That would be life-changing. Yeah.
And my son had cancer, and that's when it really went just bam, downhill. And I told myself, like, I'm going to quit when he beats this. Well, I told myself I'm going to quit when I find out, you know, if this is cancer, I'm done. And then I never quit. And then he beat it. And it was like 2 years later, and I was still just drinking like he was sick. And he was totally healthy. And I just was like, I'm done. I'm like, I'm done with this. It's time. He needs me. Drank the whole time in surgery, hungover. This could be the day of his surgery. I look back on the pictures, and I'm just like, I thank God he beat it, because he really needed me there. I'm glad I was there, but like, I don't remember it.
Yeah, but you can't let that guilt.
No, I don't
hold
suffer
on.
from that
Otherwise,
at all.
that's good.
No, he doesn't care at all either. So he doesn't like. He's like, come on, Dad. You know.
Yeah.
Remember, he doesn't care.
Kids
Yeah.
are resilient.
They bounce. They're rubber. They're tough rubber. They're cool. They're my little homies.
Any other stories you wanted to share about drinking those days?
Don't drink in high school.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's so dumb. Yeah, it's just the only like so many pointless times in my life when I just been like I could have stayed in sports. Instead, I wanted to drink. maybe I could have did something else. I think about that every once in a while. Like, oh man, instead of driving the cities every day, I could just be doing this. But it's like, that wasn't in my cards. It wasn't my path. I had to do it this way. This is my path. I had to do it this way. And I completed it. I definitely did it. It's a lot. I've been sober a long time now. To where it's not very hard. It's not
When
hard
did
at all.
it stop being hard?
Probably like the 1.5 year mark. I think a year is like a pretty easy time to relapse. In like the first year, I remember coming back into, like, I gave up fishing too. I used to love fishing, but fishing was drinking. Everything was drinking. Every single activity I did was drinking. So now I got almost 3 years. And now I'm starting to weasel that fishing back in because now I can enjoy it and I don't have to have alcohol. I mean, ever. It's not
But you
even-
didn't need to take that chance for a while.
No, I didn't anything. I didn't do anything. Nothing at all. Like, I'd take my kids to the park or the skate park, and then I'd go home. Got rid of all my friends. I have no friends. 0. And I mean, a lot of people probably hate me, but I don't care.
Why would they hate you?
I'm a bad alcoholic. Alcoholics do mean things. Alcoholics do bad things. And sorry to whoever doesn't like me, but
Yeah, I don't know anything about the STEP program, but isn't there something about like making amends with people? Do you ever think about
I never did that.
that?
No, because
You're just happy with how your life is
Yeah,
now
totally
and who's
fine
in
with
it?
yeah, I never did any. I tried that step program. I tried treatment. And then one of the kids went to high school. His mom was in there and she was drunk. And every time she was drunk, I was like really trying to take it seriously then. And I hadn't relapsed then at all. So I was still sober then. And I could tell when she was drunk because she would like chat, like, what's that called? Zoom chat into the treatment for the day. She wouldn't come in person. And I could just hear her talking on the TV. She's hammered. And I just looked at the counselor and said, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm leaving. He's like, well, you need this. I said, no, I don't. I don't need this. And I just left. I've been sober ever since then. I hope she is. But I'm not going to waste my time on, like, people are asking me, like,
Well, different things work for different people.
yeah. What do they say? Different strokes for different folks or whatever. I always say, like, if you want it that bad, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you want to be a millionaire that bad, you're gonna work. It's crazy hard to become a millionaire.
So I saw a TikTok and it said, what are the chances that you're going to make $1 million in the next year? Like, what percentage would you say?
5.
5%.
Yeah.
So what if I told you everybody in your life was going to die unless you made $1 million in the next year? What are the chances that you'll make $1 million?
110.
Right.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, you'll do it.
Yeah, you got to suffer. That's how I look at it. Suffering is the best way to get sober.
Yeah.
It is the worst way, but it's the best way. Yeah, if you're just done with it, you're gonna stop.
You go through that horrible point, but now you're to a point where, like, does it phase you ever?
No.
Do you ever consider it? Yeah. That's how I am too. It's like it doesn't cross my mind, and I didn't believe I would ever get to that point.
Oh, I thought I was gonna die. I literally thought I was gonna die. I was kind of convincing myself I was going to die. And I was starting to become okay with it. Like, I was gonna wonder how I was gonna tell my kids, your dad's dying from choices I made. I was like going through all the lines, like, how am I gonna tell them? They're going to be very sad. And that's when I was just like,
I don't want that to be my story.
no. That's not my story. It's not over yet.
Did it feel like a light bulb went off? Something like, I wonder what shifted.
It did click. Like, it really did. Like, it's the weirdest thing. I don't know how to explain it. I just woke up one day and I just said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. That's all I said.
Maybe it was your mother's support from the background, like deciding to stop resisting and pushing and fighting and doing all this stuff and just deciding, I'm just going to send him love. I mean, I think that's powerful.
Yeah, she's got a picture of me where I'm just like a puddle on the couch.
With a whole bunch of empty Fireball bottles, little shooters around him. And I was like, where do those keep coming from?
I knew it was bad at the end when I was drinking Rumplements. My peppermint schnapps, 100 proof. That's when I knew I'm like, oh, you're on the 100 proof, man. Like, there's nowhere, no more uphill after 100 proof. If you get off beer, you're done. You're done. You're going to ruin your life. It's just the heroin of alcohol. It's the worst.
Do you remember your first drink?
Yeah, I do. Yep. Stole it.
Totally.
Yeah. From her. She had a full liquor cabinet. It was hidden away from all the children. But if you want something, you're going to go get it. I was that curious kid.
Kids are resilient, right?
Yeah.
They
I
just
mean, it
find a
was
way.
a challenge to get to. It was locked. Everything was locked in our house. Everything was locked. And, you know, weasels find their way into things. And
Well, you said curiosity. I like that better than weasel. And maybe your curiosity to see what life sober would be like is kind of what got you out. Maybe your curiosity was the bad part and the good part.
yeah, I guess, yeah. Because from the time that I was 10 until 29, I didn't stop. My whole life I drank. And then one day, like you said, it just off. No more. And I have not had a drink since. I've had like an NA beer, but that's like very rare. Like it's like one every 6 months or even further. Like I forget the last time. Oh no, I went to tacos. I had one at tacos. That's it. I don't like keep them in my house. My fiance doesn't drink. So that helps too. If I had a partner that was drunk all the time, I mean, for one, I'd just dump them. I'm like, I'm not going to deal with this. I don't have to.
Right.
I don't have to deal with this.
Right. And your kids don't.
No. And coming with quitting like that gives me a lot of power just to say no. Like with anything, I can just say no.
Yeah, right?
Everything. Like,
Literally,
no.
you're so strong now.
Yeah, nothing can break me
It's
anymore.
so exciting. Right.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. People are like, hey, you want to do this? No. Now you used to be like, well, I kind of don't. Now I'm just, no. They're like, wow, that's how you feel? I said, yep. Forgive me. I'm blunt.
Yeah.
Happy.
That's great. That's great. And Kim, you're not much of a drinker.
Not much, no.
Did watching him change your relationship with alcohol at all?
Probably a little bit, yeah. I went through my times in my life too where I drank a lot. After my mom passed away, I drank a lot. I was in a relationship before that where I drank a lot. And when you start to see people be healthy, you are excited about that. And watching him and the struggles that he went through, and then to watch him smile again, I was like, you know what? We just don't need that. We just, it's one thing to be social, in my world or whatever, but some people just can't. And it's a poison to every single body. That's what alcohol is. So, you just choose, but I don't crave it. It's not like I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be done with this so that I can go have a glass of wine. I don't think I think about it.
Yeah. I've never seen you like that. Or like, oh, I should stop, or I'm only going to have 2 tonight, and then you end up having more. Like, never seen that.
Yeah, it's
So we're all different.
the less I drink, the less I care to drink. But I was kind of like that with smoking too. So I never was a super smoker.
Not me.
Still smoking?
No, I smoke one cigar every day.
Oh,
One.
yeah.
But I limit myself to one.
Yeah. That's
But,
perfect.
but then I can go like 5 days without one. But with cigarettes, I used to love cigarettes. Me and her mom, my grandma, we would just smoke cigarettes together. She'd come over, I would quit. Be good for a couple months. Stop by grandma's house. She'd be like, you want a cigarette?
Yeah.
Give me one of them cigarettes, grandma.
It's just like
We're
that
smoking.
comforting
Yep.
nostalgia. Yeah.
Yep, she had lung cancer, and she'd say, you want a cig? I said, give me one of them.
Yeah.
Smoking
Yeah.
cigarettes with
Can't
her.
say no to grandma.
No, she'd say, you want coffee? Sure, I don't drink coffee.
Yeah.
Ever. I never drink coffee, but grandma would ask, and I'd have a cigarette and coffee in my hand, and I just look down and go,
I don't know how this happened.
where did these come from? But I'm cool with it.
Yeah, Grandma, I'm going to have to cut you out of my life. You're bad
I
influence.
sat there and I smoked with her until she passed. Yep.
Yeah. She was a card.
Oh, yeah. She loved her heaters. I did too. Kids make fun of me for yellow teeth still. I said, well, don't smoke.
Yeah, right?
I said, don't vape.
I'm trying to show you what not to do.
Yeah, I am a perfect example of what not to do and what to do if you struggle.
Yeah, you did the hardest thing and you evolved. You jumped this huge leap from doing this horrible, hard, I'm sure it was just ruthless. Like, how many times did you almost cave and relapse?
It was close. Really close.
Can
Because
you think of
wintertime.
a specific time where you were really close and didn't?
Since the day I quit, there hasn't been a close one.
That's good.
But before that, those two times, I had a little bit of time. I had a week, 10 days. And then, boom, I'm back at 0.40. Just like that. Like I never had 10 days.
Like, do you remember making that decision, or is it like your brain just shuts off?
Oh, I lose it. I lose all motor functions. All of a sudden, I'm like, already at the liquor store and I've already drank one. And I go, wow, what the
How
heck?
did this happen?
How did I
Yeah.
get here? Now that's right. I just know. My brain knows we're on the same communication. We don't drink. Period.
But I think now it's different in the way you have your thoughts. Your emotional intelligence, your ability to think choices through is entirely different. Your, ability to be rational is entirely different. When something, big occurs, you take a second and you process it and you respond, where in those drinking days, everything was reactive. He was like a bomb going off all the time. It was not a pleasant place to be when he was in that mode, because it was explosive. And that's not the case anymore. Now it's, this occurred and it's a big deal. And what are my options? This is what I'm going to need to do. And that's a 180 for sure in comparison to how he used to handle life, like basic life things. Like that one of your kids wants a glass of milk and it spills on the way, he would have lost his mind, where now he's like, boop, it's spilled milk. Oops.
I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't even like milk. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
No.
But it's a whole different, it's the ability to stop and think and process and respond instead of just reacting and blowing up all the time. And that was what the kids learned growing up. Dad was going to blow up if anything happened. He was a ticking time bomb all the time.
But yeah, I think your brain has to change in order for that to happen.
Yes.
So how did your brain change? Because, it's got to take practice. I think working out probably helps, because I know when I work out, I think a lot clearer. I put a lot more pauses in my conversations.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I should get back to the gym, though. I definitely should do that. It's just work and sports. So many sports.
I know. I was like, I should go put Vikings on because we got the Wild, we got the Twins.
I gave up sports when I quit drinking. Like I never watch them.
He'll forever be a diehard Twins fan.
I am a diehard Twins fan. I do love
But that
my
doesn't
Twins.
mean you watch it.
I don't watch it. I can't sit down. Guys at work are like, you're gonna sit down and watch a Vikings game this weekend? I said, no. And they're like, why not? And I said, well, I'm not sitting down for 3 hours.
Yeah, because is your brain
going
so
outside.
active? You
Oh,
need to
yeah.
be doing so much stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why you drink so much too, is because you don't know how to relax. So you had to do something, but now you're doing what, housework and outside stuff?
No, I don't do any of that. I get yelled at all the time for not doing that stuff.
It's like putzing. It's like whatever the kids want to do, or
Yeah, kind of just putzing around. Yeah,
Putzing.
kind of just being alive.
he's got a Blackstone now, so sometimes he's out there
Do some cooking.
slinging.
Perfect.
Yeah, my fiance cooks really good, so I gotta give her a little shout out because it's awesome. But I gotta get back to the gym because like she made cowboy beans before I came here. It was awesome. It was the most delicious. I got the best life now. And almost 1,000 days ago, I did not think I would have a life like this. I didn't. I thought I was gonna get my kids taken away from me. I thought the worst. Everything I thought the worst. I could find the worst and the best thing. Now, I never think negative, ever. I try not to. I can't say I'm perfect, but I really try not to. And live pretty, karmatic. Try to, as much as I can.
Yeah, so how does faith play a role in all of this? When did your faith grow?
Well, I tried to prove him wrong. I tried to prove Jesus wrong. Like I tried. I studied. And by trying to prove him wrong, I was wrong. So I said, well, I'm a believer now. 'Cause I tried.
That's
I
great.
really did.
When did that start?
Probably like a year ago. I was watching some videos and I'm like, there's no way it's real. Because I don't need God to get sober. I'm already sober.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I started just researching, and my grandma was huge. We called her a Bible thumper.
She was big,
Huge
faithful,
Bible thumper. So faithful.
spiritual.
But then the older I get now and the more I research into it, I'm like, man, she had it all figured out. She was untouchable. Untouchable. You could not have phased that lady. She knew she had God on her side. Now I'm trying to pass that down. 100%. Like 110%. She had God on her side.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, how do I get there? I want to get there. That's my goal now, is I want to get there because she was untouchable. You couldn't have wrecked her day. Raining, sleet, sideways. Cool.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful day. I'm like, come on, Grandma. It's terrible outside. No, it isn't. It's warm in here. And then you're like, it is warm in here. She always find the good in everything.
Mm-hmm.
She always said God is good. So now I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to give it a shot. And it's been great. I quit listening to terrible music and I listen to Christian music all the time, even at work. And it totally uplifts my mood. I'm never like angry. I used to be so angry. So angry. Like the most angry. Probably the most, like if you were to recorded me just throughout my day, you could probably have 1 million views. It was just terrible. Terrible anger.
Every sentence had at least a swear word, if not 4.
Or all of them. It was just an all of them sentence of swear words.
And the relationship with God changed that, or the quitting
Yeah,
drinking?
I try and watch my language now.
Yeah.
I try. I'm not saying I'm perfect or ever going to be. I'm probably not going to give up swearing permanently, but
I don't think he'll be too mad.
no, I'll tell him, sorry, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best here. So that's what also I try to remember, that I am not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
But God loves you anyways.
Yeah.
That's the great part.
Yeah, he made me this way, and this is how he wants me to be. So I'm just going to be myself. And nobody can take away anything from me anymore. I used to let people influence me all the time. So then I got rid of all my friends, and I just said, who am I? I don't even know who I am anymore. No idea. I know I'm a dad, but that's not who I am. I'm a fiance, I have a fiance, but that's not who I am. Who am I? And I just realized I am a decent person. I'm not a great person, but I'm a pretty good person. I'll help you out. But if you're a dick, I'm not going to help you out. Like, I'm smart enough now to where, no. I've gotten a lot stronger. I used to be weak. Terribly weak. Weak person, weak mindset, everything. But now, no, totally different. And alcohol is the devil.
Well, yeah. Do you feel like it's a blessing at all that you went through that, because now you are so strong?
Yes. Without it, I would...
What else could have made you this strong?
Nothing.
Because there's not much else out there that's
Nope.
as hard to quit.
There's nothing. Kid having cancer, grandma dying, none of that would have ever made me as strong as I am today without getting sober. Because I had to do that by myself. Nobody else did it for me. It's kind of like, building a $1 billion business. I did this by myself, me, myself, and I. I mean, I had help. But at the end of the day, the decision was all mine. And it still is every day. I choose this lifestyle. I enjoy it a lot. When I wake up and I just go, cool. I don't feel like garbage today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And you sleep better. And
I can actually sleep. Took me like a month probably to actually
Probably
fall
longer
asleep.
than that. Probably longer than that to
Probably.
get normal sleep.
Yeah, to actually fall asleep. Yeah. Pot too. That's terrible. I don't know why. Some people it works. For me, I just couldn't sleep. All I had to do was eat. And I had anxiety. I heard this thing on TikTok the other day where it's he's like, pot's not all that bad. People say it ruins your memory. He's like, I smoked the other day, and then I remembered I have anxiety. And I was like, man, that is totally me too. So now I don't, like, I felt like if I went to a psychiatrist, he would have lit me up with all these things, all these different diagnoses when I was drinking. And like, I wish I could have went to one and he would have looked at me at this part. And then like 1,000 days later and been like, well, you don't have none of that. Because I feel like those chemicals just ruin your brain. And then you start making yourself believe these things. And it is so weird how your brain can get off track like that.
Well, I think alcohol's called spirit for a reason. I think it changes your spirit
attacks it.
because it's an entity in itself that you're allowing into your soul.
I think it's the devil. I really think it is. Like, I honestly think it is. I think that's why it's illegal. Because it just, I don't know. Why would it be legal? In my eyes, there's no good to it other than like antiseptic. You could clean with it. You could start a fire if you needed to. But like, honestly, like in the body, that is not, you could put it in your gas tank.
It's poison.
It's poison. And it's
Your
legal.
poor little organs.
Yeah. My liver, I know that thing was fat. I know it was, had to have been. But when we went to the doctor, they said, you're fine. Miracle. I should have been yellow. Honestly, I should have had a yellow face, yellow body.
There probably was a little stretch in there where you were a little yellowish.
I was probably a tint of yellow. But that Fireball, I think they said that Fireball has propylene glycol in it. Food grade antifreeze. And that's what's in vapes. And people are smoking that. I was smoking those vapes. And I was drinking that Fireball. And I think that antifreeze is not good for your brain at all.
No,
So
it
like
can't.
alcohol
Literally
and
can't
antifreeze?
be.
Oh, that's a concoction to
Yeah,
go
but they
nuts.
want us to keep going to the doctor.
They
want
do.
us to keep
They want us sick.
spending money on pharmacy.
Yeah. That's how I look at it too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like with my youngest son, he's not vaccinated. People call me crazy for that, but I'm also like, if he gets sick, well, I guess I was wrong.
But he really is the only one that never gets sick.
Never. Ever. Like every year at school is like, yeah, you sure? You sure you don't want to? I'm like, I'm sure. I'm so sure.
I think he's gotten sick from like bad food
Yeah, like that's it.
or something, but
Like-
he doesn't really get a flu bug or
Nothing.
anything.
Like hand, foot, and mouth went through my house. Terrible.
Bad.
Like it took over my house. Every kid had blisters on their heels, and had like 2 spots on his tongue. And like 3 days later, he was fine.
Wow.
And I'm just looking at him, I'm like, wow. My other kids that have like a couple of vaccinations are just lit up. I'm like, wow. But I can't see, I don't know what it is. If it is those, I mean, I don't like polio. But then I think about like, should I have given him the polio vaccine? And then I'm like, but everyone else has them. So why do I have to give them then? I kind of look at it that way now. But then I just think like, I feel like God will take care of my children. He already did. I had one son, he had stage 3 cancer at 5 years old. There were so many kids at that hospital with stage 3 cancer that was the last place they were ever going to be, was at that hospital. They were going to die there. And that was hard to deal with. That was that survivor's guilt. I carried that with me for a long time. Why did my kid get to survive and all them other kids had to die? Or be sick forever, And it's just like, it took a long time to get over. Now I just realized that's just how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's just how it
You
is.
just bang your head against the wall trying to figure it out, but you just have to trust that it
accept it.
is for a reason. And yeah, God obviously gave you a really strong liver and didn't turn you too
Yeah.
yellow. So,
Give me an iron
you're
liver.
supposed to be here. You're supposed to be sharing the story. And it's great how many people are sober nowadays.
I think it's cool actually nowadays to be sober.
Yeah.
Like it's to not drink is a
It's like the greatest trend.
it's like a hip trend not to drink, and I'm like, man, where was this trend when I was a kid? Like we had the DARE program, and it was like, I dare you to do drugs, basically, and we're like, okay,
Exactly, right.
done and done.
Right. Well, they like classified everything together. They're like, I don't know if meth was a thing when I was in grade school, but it's like cocaine and heroin and marijuana, they're all equally as bad. And it's like, okay, like you lied to me. Like, how can I trust anything else that you say?
Yep.
Yeah.
But I do sometimes think that weed is a gateway drug. I do think so. Because, like, there was a lot of times where, like, hey, you want to just smoke? Yeah, sure. And I find myself doing like 10 other things. I'm like, man, if I wouldn't have came over here to smoke. Like, just, I think it gets you in the door.
Because it's mind altering. So
Yep.
then, like, you're going to be altered maybe to make other decisions than you normally
More
would.
accepted, too. You're like, well, I tried this. You know, what's the difference between that? And then, oh, what's the difference between that? And you just keep going down and down and down. And with alcohol, you know, you're like more accepted. Like, oh, that's just a party favor. That will help me drink more alcohol. Or if I do this, it'll make me drink less. That's, you know, I'm going to try and slow down my drinking, so I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden you're just full blown into that other one. It's like, all right, now I'm quitting this and I'll just drink. I used to tell myself all the time, well, it's just drinking. It's alcohol. It's just alcohol. It's the worst one. It was the worst one I could have picked. For sure. Like, I see people that are 30-year meth heads. They look like crap, but
Yeah, their organs aren't saturated with the...
they're like picking
Alcohol,
nuggets and
though.
exercising, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, alcohol, you just plant yourself on a stool and turn into a puddle. Drown the sorrows. No, I just deal with them. I don't care.
When did you start going to church?
So I haven't gone like fully into it yet, but like I get my kids every other week. So I got to convince them. My oldest, full bore into it. I'm down. When do we leave? And then
great.
the other ones are like, but I want to go ride my bike. I get it. There's only so many more weeks to ride your bike. All right, fine. There's a wrestling event at the church up the road from the house. And my son got to go in the ring with the pastor. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's that pastor. Let's go see him, you know? Yeah, but, you know, pay-per-view's going to be on today. I said, yeah, it's 7. Yeah, you can just read it to me, you know, read the Bible to me. I'm like, fine, whatever. At least, you know, we're getting something done here. But they seem to be
That's
believers.
a really good compromise.
Yeah, I'm totally down. Sometimes I don't feel like leaving the house.
And there's really good stories in it.
It's great stories. So they want me to get them a picture Bible now. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Whether you just look at the pages, I don't care.
Yeah.
Open the book.
Just be in it.
Yeah, just open that book. That's how I look at it. I mean,
With an open mind.
yeah, just read it. I mean, if it doesn't change your life, then you try.
Yeah. And
It's
try
always
again tomorrow.
planting seeds.
It changed my
Oh,
life.
yeah.
Yeah, it totally changed my life. I always thought it was weird. That was weird. God's not real. Science is real. And now, like, the older I get, like, I'm just realizing science is just a theory. Everything's just a theory. Everything is people's guess. That Bible's old. It's really old. So, what do I have to lose? You know what I mean?
So what? You might actually get like, you know, positive attitude and clearer thinking and better understanding of situations and, you know.
Mind expansion.
Yeah.
No
like-
matter what, you're going to get that.
dang.
Because these words were written so long ago.
Like, dang, you're going to get all those things from,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
from
How
the,
dare me.
The horror. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so terrible. I always thought they were like, so like with the kids I go to church with when I was a kid, I was like, man, these guys are nerds. I don't want to be a nerd.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I did. But they were nerds. I think that was just them, though. That was not God. It was just them. They were just nerds.
Yeah.
So, but I see them now, and they're like, hey, now. I'm like, hello.
Regular, everyday
Nerds.
humans.
Yeah, it's just they were just normal people that weren't drug addicts at 15 years old.
Right.
Weird.
Ego. Guys, I had a huge ego. I thought I was the coolest. Turns out I'm not. And there's nothing like turning 30 to realize you're not that cool. And I'm cool with not being cool.
I don't know, when you get into your 50s, you become cooler.
Do you become cool? That's good. I think I quite a
There's
few
something
years.
to look forward to.
That's all right.
Well, I think 1,000 days sober is pretty damn cool. Because, yeah, like we said, the trend, like, we talked about that a few times with Veda, and my son James is 20, and they just don't really drink. I mean, Veda's 23. Yeah, just, you know.
Congrats to them.
Yeah.
If they can handle 2 beers, like, I sometimes wish I could handle 2 beers.
Yeah.
Because it would be cool to go have 2 beers with
Right.
people.
Might be kind of nice.
Might have some friends,
Yeah, right?
but I don't. So this is
You
the
have
life I
friends.
live.
There's 3 small humans
Yeah.
or not so small humans.
So you don't have any friends because you did drunken, stupid things, or you had to cut them out of your life.
That, and it's just,
And straight choice. Like he's like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
yeah, if you're not on my path, I don't care.
He doesn't have time.
No, I don't have any time for anybody. If you're not about making some
Your
money,
best.
yeah, being a
well-being,
good
yeah.
person, being well behaved, just being polite, I don't care to speak to you. Period. And
You just don't
zero
have
time.
energy for that.
No, I don't put energy into that. Arguing with my kids, a little bit of energy I put into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not a lot.
Pick your battles.
I pick my battles.
Right.
If it's picking up your room, I am putting my foot down and you are putting up your room. I will spend all day on making sure you pick up your room. I have the energy for that.
Well, and they're your best friends, so there you go.
I don't know. Some days they are. Some days they are not.
Well, they're all cute and they sleep.
They're all boys. So I got to deal with their egos because they're all really cool.
So cool.
You should see how cool they are.
So cool.
They're so cool. And they're all mine. They all got their hair dyed yesterday.
Really? What
Hair
color?
dye day.
Like
Yeah.
bleach?
Like blonde tips or green.
Oh my
And it was picture day today. So they all had gold chains on. I'll
They
rob my jewelry.
They are the
Yes.
coolest
So
human
cool.
beings.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had them all young too. That's why I think if you're gonna be a parent, do it young.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being like, it would be cool to be like financially stable, and have my house paid off for already for 10 plus years and a car and all this stuff. But
Just dive right in. What the
just
heck?
do it. If you're gonna have kids, just do it.
Yeah.
Figure it out later.
I'm glad I did. Even if James doesn't have kids for 10 more years, I'll still be a grandma by 50.
Yeah, that's plenty.
And yeah.
My youngest brother, he doesn't have any kids. Doesn't want them.
He has cats.
He likes cats.
How old
I'm
is he?
23.
23.
He might change his name.
Yeah.
Might
And
change his mind.
I don't.
Dominic did not want kids.
Don't change your mind.
How old were you when you started?
21. Yes. My kids are old now. And I look at them, I'm like, man, when I was your age, I was stealing cigarettes.
Yeah.
I'm so
right?
thankful you're not stealing cigarettes.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't it so great? They went better than
Oh, they could have
than us.
went way worse.
Yeah.
But no, my son, he just looks at people that smoke and drink. And I'm like, is there kids that doing it in your school? No. I said, don't lie. I said, I went to that school. He goes, no, Dad, really? Kids don't do that stuff anymore. I said, yeah. I look at him like, you sure?
Yeah.
He's like, no, not my friends. I said, they're welcome anytime.
yeah.
Right.
Anytime. Call them. I'll pick them up. Whatever. They're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
I said, 'cause
Like
I
all
can
these
read
friends
'em.
are going to have the kids and their friends and yeah.
Oh, it's a kid palooza.
It's good.
Yeah. Fiance's got a ton of kids. I get a ton of kids. So it definitely does keep me busy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of love in my house. You can tell when you show up. You pull in, you're like, wow, there's like 15 different sports balls in the yard. This is a good place to be. Yep.
That's beautiful.
It's a good life.
That's so great.
And it's good to know, like, when you didn't have a good life and now you have a good life, you're like, oh, I'm not going back to that. You can't make me. That's kind of how I look at it. I got my chance. It's my second chance of life, and I'm just going to live it. Yep. A lot of people don't get a second chance. One and done. And I'm just grateful as can be.
Yeah. How much does gratitude play a part?
Oh, I'm so grateful. Every day I try to be the most grateful person that anybody can meet. I am so grateful. And, a bad thing happens, and I'm like, well, at least this didn't happen. And I'm like, wow, I sound like my grandma and my mother. But then I'm like, well, they're pretty grateful people, so it
Yeah.
could be worse.
I'll be honest, at the end of his drinking adventure, probably the last year of that, his gratitude level was pretty low.
Negative.
And I would say, well, just maybe if you just think about one thing every day you're grateful for, he'd be like, Mom, there's nothing. And I'd be like, well, I mean, you make cute humans.
Yeah.
I'd be like, let's just find one thing to think about that you get to be grateful for. And he'd be like, Mom, you don't get it. And I'd be like, but you know what? Life is so great when you think of all the things that are great. You wake up in the morning and he leaves for work super early in the day. And I'd be like, but the sunrise is like my favorite time. And he'd be like, Mom, it's stupid. I'm on my way to work. And then I'd be like, well, you're going to work. Isn't that great? And he'd be like,
Yeah.
But now he'll send me pictures of the sunrise or, whatever. Or a deer went through his windshield once and he was like,
Yes.
I am so grateful that I'm okay.
120 days sober. Exactly on that day. I took a picture of the Bram-Y. I said, 120 days sober, yeah. 30 seconds later, deer flew through my windshield. Head first, boom, in my passenger seat. Blood dripping down my face, glass in my eyeballs. Pulled in the parking lot, called my friend, went to work.
In 10 seconds difference, you could have
Been
not
dead.
walked away.
Yeah. Yep. It was
So
super
lots to
weird.
be thankful for.
Yeah.
And all he had to do was change the windshield on that car, and then he drove it for another year.
Oh, I hit so many deer in that car.
Oh my God.
So many deer, like 4 or 5 deer in that car.
Yeah.
It was a piece of crap.
He used it up.
Yes, it was terrible.
He used it up.
But it got me too.
He made a lot of money driving that car. So.
I did. I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did. It was pretty grateful for that Ford Taurus.
But when you're down, it's like there's a shield over your brain that won't let you see the good.
It's just dark.
You know?
It's a wall. You can't see through a wall.
You're just in the dark,
Yeah.
and you just can't see the things.
Was there anybody else besides your mom that was supportive and building you up in those moments?
Oh, yeah, my brother. Yeah, we fist fought in the yard. He was coming to help. What was he doing? He was coming to help me with something.
Something.
Like, get me in the house or something.
It was.
I was freaking out in the driveway or something. And he's like,
I went, yeah.
Dom, get in the house. And I'm like, screw you. And I punched him in the face. He just kicked the crap out of me. And I woke up and I'm like, oh, ow. Why do I hurt so bad? And normally I don't wake up this hurt. Normally it's just my head. And now it's like my head and my ribs and what was it? Somebody told me it was Kevin, the guy I bought the car from.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, you were terrible. Your brother was coming to save you. And you punched him in the face and he just slammed you. I'm like, rightfully so. And then, I was kind of like, I was embarrassed, like, oh, my little brother. Ugh. Ugh. He's like straight and narrow. He's straight and narrow. He runs like 20 miles a day and
Training for a marathon.
Yeah, he's just a good dude. And I'm like, man, I fought my brother last night. I'm like, that's pretty low. I'm like, I gotta call him and say sorry. And then I'm like, but how do you say sorry for the 1,000th time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that gets old. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
But tomorrow I'm gonna be sorry too because I'm gonna do the same thing today.
Yeah.
Stupid. Vicious circle.
But he never gave up.
No, I still talk to him every day. Yeah. Very thankful for them. Super thankful. That's what
I
I'm always
didn't
telling them.
realize my boys talked as much as they do. And then my daughter-in-law was like, oh, well, Slay talks to Dom like every day. And I was like,
Cute.
Yeah, we call each other. We don't even text. We just call each other on the phone. Old school. And me and Tucker, we like, what's up? What's up? That's it. The little brother thing. Little brother, big brother.
But I'm here.
Yep.
I'm
you
there.
good? Yeah. All right. Good. I don't got to worry about you that much. That's what I was telling my kids. I'm like, man, you guys need each other. As much as you guys hate each other, you guys love each other. I know it. They're all totally different. I'm like, okay, one of you needs to be a mechanic.
Yeah.
One of you needs to be a plumber. One of you needs to be an
Doctor,
electrician.
astronaut,
Yes, something.
like-
All of you need to be.
Yeah.
you cannot be the same field.
No,
You can't.
we're not going to start a
so we
business
can
together.
all hook
Yep.
each other up with
Yep.
our skills. 100%.
I said, none of you need to be a millionaire. One of you just needs to have enough land where I can park my camper 3 months a year on it.
Someplace warm.
Something, I said, 3 months a year, June, July, August, and I'm out of your hair. Yep. So,
Yeah, I was always offended because my mom told us kids, like, I wish that you had all travel, like, all moved all over the country so that I could go live with you guys in these different states. And it's like, okay, most parents want their kids to stay
Yeah.
close. Sorry, Mom, we didn't stay close.
she wanted us to go.
Yeah,
Tucker
I
did.
did.
He left. He's gone.
I was like,
See
you
bye.
guys can go anywhere. Airplanes fly everywhere. I tried hard to push them all out.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, at one point in time, when he was really not doing well, and my mom lived in Tennessee, I put him on a bus and sent him to her because I didn't,
She was done.
I couldn't.
She was
Well,
done.
that's a lot of
So-
boys.
Yeah.
Sent him.
No, she was done with me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Done.
So I sent him to Tennessee, and then he ended up in
Huntsville, Alabama.
Alabama straight.
It's a dump. A dump.
Well, I was like, dude, you need to go experience other things. You need to go. You need to go. Clearly, this town isn't working for you. This area isn't working for you. You need to go do other things because this isn't. He was spiraling so bad. And then he left and went there, and it didn't improve.
Worse.
Way
Way
Came
worse.
home with.
Well, it probably had to get worse so it could get better at some point,
Yep. That's how I look at it.
right?
It's a good learning experience.
Yeah.
Don't move to the south.
Otherwise, you would have just skated by, just like normal alcoholic.
Probably still be
You
drinking.
had to get bad so you could climb out.
I think I was like 19.
Yeah, I was like, you're going on a Greyhound bus. Good
I
luck.
went
Dude.
all the way across the country by myself. Couple bucks in my pocket and a pack of cigarettes and a backpack full of clothes. I was only tell the kids, I'm like, you could have had my life, dude. I said, you're lucky that I went through all this stuff, so you don't have to.
Well, and it's really hard to lie to your parents when your parents have done all of the things.
Oh, yeah. I told them, I said, if you bring over buddies that are bad, I'll be like, you're out of here. I can already see you, dude. I can see everything now. That's a curse and a blessing.
Well, try not to be too judgy.
I try not to. That's one thing. I really
He
try not
does
to
let
judge.
people trip on their own shoe.
I do. I will let you fall, but that will help you out. But also, it's like that. Like people are like, how come you don't become a sponsor? I said, because I don't run that program. I run the program of suffering. Have you suffered enough? No. Okay. Well, then you're gonna keep doing what you do until the day you realize I do like that one line from the 12 Steps. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like that. Like that's just if you're sick and tired of the way your life is, change it. Change it. Get a different job. Like, do anything.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, I think it's more than just willpower. I
Yeah.
think you need support. You need something.
I tried
need
smoking
to
cigarettes. That was one of the
Replace
first
it with
thing I did.
something.
Yeah.
When he was in high school, he had to go spend a little treatment adventure for getting busted smoking weed in the school parking lot. And,
I was on the school bus.
I guess it. Yeah.
Correct.
So,
School bus.
So he went to a facility and he didn't get to stay there. But then he tried another one and he didn't get to stay that. No, you graduated the second one. And he gets in the vehicle and he's like, lied my way through that. And I don't know, as a parent, if you can be any more mad and not tuck and roll them out the door while you're driving. I was so furious, and we had to drive home from, was it like Big Lake?
Maple Lake.
Maple Lake.
I remember it.
And it was the longest drive ever. I couldn't wait to get out of the vehicle away from him. I was so upset. I was like, you just spent 74 days in a facility and you get in my vehicle. We're not out of the parking lot yet. And you're like, lied my way through that. And I was just
Defeated, I bet.
it was
What could you possibly do next?
90-day program. I got out in 74. They gave
By
me-
lying.
Yeah. Yeah, because they gave me 2 packets. I looked at the alcohol packet, super thin. And the weed packet was super thick. And I said, I'm an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic for sure. Super bad alcoholic. And they're like, okay, here you go. Here's your packet. And I'm like, I said, you guys all told the truth. It's like this thick. I'm like, I can do that in 74 days. Did it. See, that's the thing is like I was able to push myself to things I wanted to do. I wanted to get the heck out of there. It was all boys. I wanted nothing to do with that place. And I fibbed my way right through it. Now, I'm like, all right, we got to be honest. Everything's honesty.
now he's like brutal honest. Like
Brutally.
zero cares. It's just is what it is. It's just there's no gray line in a lot of his
Nope.
ways now. He's like, I go to work. That's what I do because I need to, take care of my family. And when the kids are giving him grief, he's like, this is the right way to do this particular situation, and this is the way we're going to do it. And he's like, we're just not.
And truth is never really going to get you in trouble. I mean, it might make people mad at you, but in the end of the day, you're like, I told the truth. I didn't do anything bad. So if you're mad at me for telling the truth, then it's on you.
Be mad.
So,
And the only people that
Yeah,
get
there's no
mad
guilt.
at the truth or at your boundaries are the people that don't want you to have that.
Yeah.
So
So I look at it, like a lot of guys at work, still drinking every day, still miserable as can be. They're like, I don't know how you do this job and you're still drinking. I'm like, well, that's because I don't like waking up at 4 a.m. and throwing up after I brush my teeth. Weird. I said, do you do that? Yeah, I do that sometimes. I said, weird. How do I know that? So weird. They're like, well, how did you quit? I said, I just quit. They're like, yeah, right. You did something. I'm like, okay. I said, well, I tried that no drinking pill thing.
oh, yes, you did.
I did. And I'm
That
like,
was-
this is stupid. It gave me like brain waves. Like my brain would go like, ooh. I'm like, wow, this is weird.
where'd you get that from? It's
Detox.
like
Yeah,
prescribed.
the detox, yeah. And they're like, try this, it works. If you drink, you're going to throw up. So I'm like,
That was
"Ooh."
true.
Yeah, you will throw
He
up.
tested that theory.
Yeah, you will puke. Yeah, so if anybody gets on that, pick one. Because you will, oh man, whoever invented that thing, there's repercussions to that. You got to read the back of everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's for real. Yeah.
How long does it last for after you take the pill that you can't drink?
Oh,
Or
it-
you'll puke.
I don't
So,
know.
like-
It's like one of those pills a day.
yeah.
So it's like a 24-hour
Well, it gets
thing.
rid of your cravings, is what it's supposed to do. But when you're
So
physically
it's not
dependent,
purposely supposed to make you puke. That
Oh,
just
it
ends up being
purposely-
a
Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
intentionally makes you ill if you drink,
Yeah.
so that
yeah.
you
So
don't want
to.
to.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it makes you like have the worst hangover you've ever had.
Uh-huh.
Because I walked in the house after he had drank, after taking that pill, and he said, "Mom."
oof, sweating and just
Writhing in bed and just and I was like, that looks terrible.
nobody tells you about the sweating. Like when you are physically dependent on alcohol, nobody tells you how bad you are going to sweat.
When you
Just
start
sitting there
detoxing.
idle, dripping in sweat. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night, sweating, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like I'm showering twice a day. Everything I do makes me sweat.
He'd go to
I
the gym and
reek.
he'd sweat so much.
Yeah. There's so many toxins in your body when you drink like that.
What else did it feel like detoxing?
It was the most painful thing I've ever done. It was terrible. Shaking. So much shaking. And just the brink of throwing up for like 2.5 weeks straight. Just that feeling like it's right there for 2.5 weeks and you still got to do everything. But yeah, the first, when they went to the hospital for those 3 days, that was like they had me on Ativan and all this stuff to make sure I didn't seize out. And that was kind of when I was like, you should probably take my health a little more seriously. Yeah, health is you need to take care of yourself. And I never thought like that was a thing. I just thought men did not take care of themselves. Now it's becoming a thing where men are starting to take care of themselves. In the industry I'm in, people do not take care of themselves. The old guys I work with, they look terrible. And they think they're going to retire and just live 20 more years.
And realistically, they're not old.
No,
Because
they're
they're-
like 58.
They're 48.
Or they're 48 and they look like 75.
And they're all hunched over and cranky.
Hungover and smoking
Hungover.
heaters.
Smoking
What do you
heaters.
think makes people give up like that?
Oh, they lost hope a long time ago. You gotta have hope. Hope is the biggest power. You lose hope, it's done. Everything's gone. You're gonna lose everything you ever worked for.
You were pretty hopeless for a long
Hopeless.
time.
Just a hopeless, pitiful,
Years
self-pity.
and years and years and years.
For years. So long. Self-pity. Why me? Why me? Why me? Now I'm like, why not me? You know? Why can't I do that? Like I went on my first vacation. Went for a week. Just left. Felt guilty. The whole time.
I had the boys that week. We went
Yeah.
camping for the first time.
Called them all the time.
What did you feel guilty about not being with the kids?
Yeah. Taking the time to myself.
And I was like, but they get me.
Yeah, right?
I had a blast.
I mean, clearly we had a blast.
I still talk about it. They're like, so Dad, have you ever been up to Vermilion? I said, I've lived here my whole life, never been once. Oh, you should go up there. I'm like, yeah, let me just get in the car.
Oh, that's great. They're just booking trips for you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They were just talking about it yesterday. So instead of Christmas, what if we get vacation? I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you guys are
Yeah,
starting to realize how this works.
experiences over things.
Yeah. Like trips to Florida, $160 in February. We might be going to Florida.
Amazing.
Depends. A lot of depends.
So what would you say to people that are like, well, I wouldn't go through withdrawals if I quit drinking. I don't drink that much. I don't need, so, if they were listening to this and they're like, well, I don't need to quit because I'm not that bad. What would you say though?
Your attitude will be bad. It's like when you quit, you smoke cigarettes. You haven't had a cigarette for a couple hours and you get all short and snippy. That's withdrawing. Even that little bit is a withdrawal. Your attitude's changing.
Yeah, or
then when you get it,
crabby because the wine opener broke and you can't have it. Yeah.
Little things like that. That's all withdrawal.
Yeah.
Like, how would I explain it? Like, like cigarettes is like the closest thing. Because as soon as you get one, you're fine. You're totally back to normal.
Yeah, I heard anytime you have a craving, it's because you're not living in the present moment. Like now you're seeing sunsets and sunrises and all these things and just taking everything more seriously, gratitude more seriously.
Yeah, I'm like a sponge. Like I just absorb life now. Everything, every little piece of it. I'm just like, oh, cool. That's cool. And then people are like, it's not cool. I'm like, that's pretty cool. That's cool. You guys don't know cool.
Well, and I think a lot of people look at you and they think, well, you're lucky.
Oh yeah,
they
think like I got something.
You just are a lucky kind of person that can just do that. But I can attest to the simple fact that zero part of this was luck and straight grit, because not 1 second of it was not a conscious effort every single moment to stay on that path. Like he has had to do every single thing the hardest way possible for the majority of his life. Like,
yes,
if you gave him 3 different options, like, you could do it this way, it might be a little hard, but you're going to learn a lot. You get this way, super easy, but you could do this way, and it's going to be the hardest possible way ever. And it's going to take you way longer, but you'll get to the other end. He'd be like, yeah, I want that hard way.
Yeah.
I would
because
be
you get the most out of it then. But I mean, I still wouldn't choose the hardest all the time, but I know you do get the most out of it.
I think so.
Oof.
But I don't know. It was how he was wired. Even as a little boy, like all the things had to be the hardest way. And as a mom, I was like, it doesn't have to be this hard, But in that, he has built the grit, the strength, it gives him power to live his days in the best way possible. Where if everything would have been handed to him, or he would have taken the easy way on everything, that would not have been.
Nah, that was not my cards.
Definitely not your cards.
No, still not. I'm a union concrete finisher. Like I chose to do that. That was my calling, and I'm really good at it. And I failed art, and I do cool things at work. Yeah, failed art. Yeah, bombed it. It's after lunch. We're all stoned.
Yeah.
When we got open lunch, I wasn't gonna pass art. Sorry, guys, I barely made it to art.
Yeah.
And now I look at it, I'm like, dude, I'm an artist. Look at that.
Aww.
I did that. Yeah, it's cool. It's totally solid. Totally, is it gratification?
Gratitude.
Like I look at it like I was a sprinkler fitter. They make a pile of money. Couldn't do it.
When did you switch jobs?
2000 and Kane was born.
So while you were still drinking?
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. Yep. Living on like $100 a month and a week unemployment and drinking $85 of that.
But this job, does it contribute to your sobriety?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because you like it so much?
Well, I had the same job when I was drinking. I was still a concrete finisher. But now I'm a sober concrete finisher. And everyone's just like, I don't understand. And I'm like, me neither.
Just
no
is.
idea.
Just is.
Couldn't tell you why. They're like, well, how did you get sober? I said, no idea.
Just did.
I just woke up one day and I decided I would love to be sober. And I said, I'm going to give it a shot. And if my life doesn't change, then I'll go back to drinking.
Yeah.
Haven't gone back to drinking since.
Because you're curious.
Yeah, my life is way better. Way better.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I can't believe how full circle this gets. I love this so much. I asked you to pick some people to just describe you, and you didn't get to see the words. Well, actually, you did get to see
Yeah, I
some
got
of
to see
them,
mine.
but
I live with her.
I put them all together and put them into some themes. And the first one, well, first of all, do you have any guesses of how people would have described you? No, you can't even do that part because you already saw
One of them.
what Bree said. But okay, the first one is drive. Multiple people said you were hardworking. They said you were resilient, tenacious, determined, unapologetic, commanding, and motivated to keep moving forward.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So that's a big theme there.
Cool.
And then the second one is loyal, because you're loyal, dependable, devoted, protective, and selfless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
The third is leader. You're knowledgeable, graceful and commanding, individualistic. And then also you're warm, appreciative, outgoing, caring, and funny. But I asked AI to write a synopsis with all of that, one line. And this is where it all ties together. It said, you're grit wrapped in grace, strong enough to lead and soft enough to lift others up.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good. And that's something I did not feel like for a long time. No.
True that.
True that. Felt like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, this is so long. I get like a little kickback every once in a while. I'm just like, wow, we used to live like that.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
Right?
It's just so much gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for myself. I mean, I am thankful that I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
You have to be proud of yourself.
yeah,
right?
yeah, I think you should. I
Mhm.
definitely, like, if that's my ego, then that's fine. I'm okay with being egotistical in that way. Because I did that.
Yeah, you did something that a lot of people have tried and can't do.
They die.
Mm-hmm.
They straight up die.
Mm-hmm.
People die from addiction every day. One of my best friends died Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was just like, man, I'm not going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to a young man not long ago. Well, and he's not young. He's in his 30s, but he had been to 28 treatment
young.
facilities. 28. Well, between detox and treatments, he had been to 28. And I was like, but he's like, before I finally was like, okay, really? But 28. And it being a human, it just takes one decision.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't know. So, like Dom going through the treatment facilities that he did when he was younger and then choosing to go to detox a couple of times, he made an active decision every time he went to something, even when he was younger. I said, you're gaining tools to use in your future. If you choose not to use them yet, you still have them. They're still there. You are learning these pieces, whether you lie your way through treatment or not. And when I was talking to that guy, he said, every one of those facilities or every single thing that I did to get here to after number 28, he said, I picked up a tool, a resource, a mentor, a somebody that I could use. He says it just took me longer. And then I was sitting there pondering it all, and I was like, I'm so grateful he didn't have to do 28 things.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if I could have done that roller coaster as a mom. That would have been, but everything we choose to grasp onto, in any of those hard times to help us get through whatever that is, they're all tools. And it's just fantastic,
Yep. A lot of my friends keep me sober too, like my old friends. They're still going to prison. Like, soon. And I'm like, no thank you.
Yeah, no
That
thank
is
you,
not
please.
a place for me.
It's not how we're doing things.
And don't call me, because I will not answer. Seriously.
Well,
Come over when you're sober. Come over when you're
You
sober.
could help them. Yeah.
That's how I look at it now. It's just, if you want to ask me
Got
how
a
I did it,
strong line.
I'm going to tell you, I don't know. I just had to do it. I knew that was right.
And you know, today you say that, and yet at some point in your life, you may come across a human being that's like, can you just sit with me?
Oh, I gladly will. Gladly will.
But
See, nobody's asked me, though. Nobody's asked. It's because they don't want it. They don't want it yet. Someday somebody's going to ask me, and then I'll help them.
can't make anybody do anything they don't want to do.
That's how I look at it. You got to want it. I wanted it bad. And I got it. And it's the greatest life. It is so good. Sometimes I feel like I'm high because I'm so sober.
You're high on life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's so great.
Hmm?
So in the moment, so
Yeah.
present.
Present. That's what it is. I'm present. I'm not escaping nothing. Just taking it in every day. Loving life.
That's so beautiful. What's something that you're proud of when it comes to being a dad, besides for this sober journey?
Being a dad. I like how tough my children are. They are tough. They're
That's cool.
so tough.
That is cool.
And they're very polite. They don't listen. That's okay. We'll work on that. But they're so strong. Like they are. I look at them and I'm like, wow. You know, if I could be half as strong as you guys were at your age, I probably wouldn't have been in the situation I was. They're just resilient.
Like strong and being able to make
so
the
strong.
right decisions.
Probably because I did. Probably helped a little bit, you know, because if I was making the wrong decisions, I'd probably still go down the wrong path. But I'm like, I'll let them just be themselves. That's what I do. I just tell them, if you want to be like that, then that's on you. I always tell them, I'll count the rest of their years and I'll say, I got that much time with you. The rest of the life is on you.
I think part of it too is you are in awe at how great your kids are.
Oh, yeah, they're cool. They're so cool. They think they're not cool.
And did you expect them to be like naughty, bad kids, like because you
Oh, yeah,
were,
totally.
and now they're so good, and that's what's so mind blowing?
Yeah, they don't do anything. Nothing wrong. They do like,
The sass,
the usual things
get
around.
normal,
They got a little
normal
attitude.
children.
Yeah, they got a little attitude issue, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we always tell you, you're coming for the title. You know, you want to come for the title, you better be prepared.
Yeah.
And then they're like, nah, whatever, Dad. Yeah, they're smart. They're so smart. All of them, so smart. I just can't believe how smart they are. 'Cause it's like, I always thought I wasn't smart. Now the older I get, I'm like, man, the things you can tell yourself that you aren't, that you actually are. So weird. The brain's a weird thing.
It is. So when your grandkids are your age, what is something that you do right now that you hope that they do?
I hope they're nice to people. That's what I hope. That's all I care about. It's just that they're nice to people. I mean, you know, you can have your time, your moments, but like, all in all, I just want them to be good people. That's it. That's all I ask for. You don't have to be a millionaire. You can be dead broke. I don't care. As long as you're a nice person. It's literally all I care about.
And what do you do that you hope that they don't do when they're your age? Is
Don't
there
drink.
anything that you still do right now? That one cigar a day? Or...
Yeah, don't have one cigar either. Don't smoke. Don't drink. Don't do none of that stuff. It's not cool. I just do one cigar a day because it just reminds me, like, it gives me that, can I quit it? Yes. Do I want it? Sure. You know, it's my one thing I dabble with. That's the only
But it's
thing
not going to be a gateway?
No way.
Okay.
Nope. No way in. No way. I will never touch this stuff again. I could go in a bar, 2 a.m., and just go look around and go, ooh, this looks like it sucks.
Thank you, no.
No thanks. I'll pick you up, but
If you go through that year and a half without it, then it just becomes almost repulsive.
it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's cool. I wish I wouldn't have done it, kind of.
I mean, like you said, it'd be nice to go out for a couple beers. I mean, I still do get sad like that. I can't be somebody
Yeah, I
that
do that too.
drinks.
I'm like, dang.
But I don't like, but that doesn't mean if there's a glass sitting there that I want to drink it.
No.
And I'm like, no.
Not like company Christmas. Everyone's drinking. Couldn't care less.
Yeah.
All I know for sure, I'm not getting a DUI on the way home.
Right.
This is cool.
Right. I'm
I
going
can
to wake up
drive
feeling
wherever I
so
want.
good tomorrow. I'm going to get all my REM sleep.
Yep. Yeah, I could literally drive wherever I want right now.
Yeah. Freedom.
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 Freedom. That's what it is. It is freedom.
Yeah.
It's releasing all the crutches.
Yeah.
Yep. It's amazing how fast it can take you, though. So fast. Go from like, oh, I'll just have a 6-pack. I'll have a 12-pack. I'll just get a bottle with that 6-pack. Because at least I'm not drinking a 12-pack. And then all
I'm
of a
gonna
sudden,
get the party bucket of
I'm going to get
Fireball.
a 175 because it's cheaper. That's how it's easy to justify it. Super easy. It's weird. That's what it is. It's a weird life. Really weird. But it's a good one.
Good.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share?
No. No, that's it.
Anything, Kim? Any last words?
Well, I think one thing that we talked about a little bit with faith and all those things, my grandma and my mom both were very faithful spiritual human beings. And they prayed over this kid but like endlessly for all the years. But grandma would walk up and down the hallway of her little single wide trailer and say prayers and tap all the pictures on the fridge. And I know the blanket of prayers long before all of the things occurred was already big. You know, that path was already there. And I think when you show your family your spiritual side and make that known, you're giving them tools to use going forward.
Yes.
And that's like when Dominic spent time with Grandma Viv, she would give him all of the spiritual tools that she had in her pockets because it was so important for her. And I just think, that's just such a beautiful way to show your family how much you love them, is to pray for them and to send them positive energy and to tell them that you love them. And I tell them, my kids, every day, I love you every day. Like, and it doesn't matter what kind of crap you're going through, I love you every single day. And like, I'll tell the grandsons when I'm leaving, I love you every day. And then the youngest one and his too coolness, he's like,
Cool.
Bye, sweetheart.
Love you, babe. That's what he tells my fiance every time. Love you. I'll say, love you, babe. Love you, babe. Every time. She nicknamed him Too Cool Koopy because he is way too cool for his own good. Yep.
But I think that when you make that such a big piece in your life, they naturally know that it's there.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was thinking about, when Dominic was in his heaviest drinking time, he says he missed a lot. And our family isn't real traditional in the fact that we do, like, they don't have to be at my house on Christmas morning, and we don't do things on holidays.
No.
We do family breakfast, and we celebrate 4, 6, 8 times a year. And we get together. We always get together mostly in the morning, so I get everybody all fresh and they're all sweet. But Dom didn't do family breakfast for years because it was morning and he was usually hungover.
Was not getting up.
And it wasn't an option. So now when I say, do you guys want to do family breakfast? It's a yes across the board. And to watch my 3 sons sit at the table and share their work day and their kids and, this and that and the other thing, travel stories and all the things, and to watch them intermingle like that, I missed that for years because he wasn't there.
Stuck.
So.
And now you take it so seriously because you missed out. So again, it's like, it's all happening for this reason.
Yeah. And it's just makes my heart feel bigger all the time.
I remember when you told me that you do that, and I think that's so smart, so that, like, your sons' wives aren't all trying to figure out how to be with their family on Christmas and Christmas Eve and Thanksgiving and all the things. So I think that was a really bold, the great move that you made.
Yeah, I love
Morning
it
breakfast.
because I don't care to go anywhere. So
Well, that chaos doesn't
everyone,
need to
kids
be.
can go to their other places. See ya, bye. And me and my fiance, we just go.
And family breakfast
Later.
is great. It's
No,
super
easy.
chill, and
Yes.
Super easy.
Yeah.
everybody gets
There's no pressure.
biscuits and gravy and whatever, and it's
Yeah.
always biscuits and gravy
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah.
But we're all good and everybody's.
There's
it's
no
morning.
rush. There's no
Right.
rush. Like
Right.
the Christmas rush, you gotta go. It's Christmas, and everyone's freaking out in the morning. And why do you look like that? You need to.
And like it has to be perfect because this is
Yeah.
the one Christmas of
got
the year. This is
pictures.
Easter. Like everything has to look great and be memorable for the kids and blah blah. Like this is breakfast.
Yeah, we're just
This
going to
is like-
breakfast. You want to wear sweaties? Be my guest. I don't
Yeah.
care.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's allows them to be who they are.
Yes,
And
exactly.
that's exactly how I want them to be. I don't want them to show up and think I have to be this person, which I think he did every time he showed up. He thought I have to be this person, and now he gets to show up as Dom, and he doesn't have to pretend to be anything he's not. And it's watching all of them. He's giving his children a view of my dad is just my dad. He's just my dad, and he doesn't have to pretend to be anybody. He's not this dad when he's here and this dad when he's here. He's just my dad,
Yeah, I don't.
which allows
sugarcoat
them
it.
to be just who they are because that's what they're watching and growing up with. So it's precious.
No, this is me, straight up. This is I don't know, one of the most outgoing things I've ever done. I've never shared anything. I'm very quiet by myself. I don't do social media, nothing. So if anybody needs help getting sober, then you'll have to give them my number. Because that's all I got is a phone number.
Hit me up. I will get
Yeah.
you Dom's number.
That's it.
100%.
Yep.
But Dom doesn't do drama, so you're
No.
not gonna bring in drama because it's not gonna.
Nope. Cut off.
He's gonna be like, dude, I don't do
Sorry,
drama.
man.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
time.
Like we can talk. I can help you. But if you're calling me in the middle of the night to pick you up, I'm deleting your number.
Well, I'll probably pick you up, but
Once.
once. I'll give you a chance, but that's it.
Perfect.
Fair.
It's a good
Sounds
life.
great.
I'll enjoy it.
Well, thanks so much for coming on and
Thanks for
telling
having
the
us.
story. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Cool.